Pacific Puddle Jump. The first one was in 1997, which seems like a really long time ago.
The idea is to cross the Pacific. It's a puddle jump, like the kids do, but across an ocean, and to cross and reach the shores of French Polynesia.
GPS was just kind of coming in those days. There wasn't nearly as much fancy navigation gear. Radio, there was no Starlink, there was none of the fancy stuff we have today. But there were a lot of boats that wanted to come from the West Coast down to Mexico. And I worked for Latitude 38 magazine, which is a West Coast, California-based magazine. We used to report on that every month. There were more and more boats wanting to go, and we said, well, where did they go after Mexico? Some would go down, and we call it hang a left, and go up to the Caribbean. And what about hanging a right? Where does that take you? That take you to the South Pacific. And relatively few people had done that. And so we wanted to open up and encourage people to do it and to help them with their preparations and so on.
People can start pretty much from wherever they want. Historically, they were starting from California and Mexico. And then over the years, a second group started joining the Pacific Puddle Jump after going through the Panama Canal. So those are the two main routes, either California direct, California, Mexico, Marquesas, or Panama to Marquesas. What we are doing now is we're extending the route at the start. You can do your pre-crossing checks in the Caribbean, specifically in Martinique, where we have a partner which is a very large service center who will prepare your boat for this long crossing all the way to Marquesas.
Started the Pacific Puddle Jump as a way to connect with sailors that are going to this lesser traveled area. A sense of community is a big part of what happens when a lot of boats are going the same direction, but it's also one of the things a lot of crews or boat owners are looking for, because they're competent sailors and they've done a lot of offshore miles, but that doesn't mean they're not going to have problems. There's a lot of help out there to get you ready.
When people cross an ocean, they need safety, they need help, they need advice, because it's quite daunting, especially when it's the first time. The sailing community can bring a lot of benefits to the islands where they stop, but it has to be a little bit organized. Also, very often people don't speak French, even less Tahitian. So organizing events in the local places help bridge the gap. The Polynesian people are seafarers, they've been through the whole Pacific several thousand years ago, way before the Europeans or Americans did it. Sailors have always been in community. If you go back to the Polynesians, they crossed with several outrigger canoes at one time. They never went just alone. Then the merchants, the Europeans that went to Africa, that went to Oceania, that went to Asia, they had routes where several ships would go just one after the other, and then they would meet in the local shipyards. So the idea of a rally of a community is not new. It's just a modern way to do it with everything that the modern communication tools can bring us to make it even more friendly, even more welcoming.
The values that we had were not only setting an example of what to do and sometimes what not to do, but to talk about the ancient cultures out here in Tahiti and elsewhere. And from the beginning, we tried to instill a sense of respect for the people and their culture. And it's not Las Vegas, it's not a wild time every night, It's kind of learn up about the place you're going. There's many places in the world where people are friendly to you, but French Polynesia really has that welcoming spirit, and you feel it as soon as you arrive. Good feelings, which makes it almost unique in my experience.
I think, it's really something you do once in your lifetime. So you have to want to do it, you have to want to overcome your personal fears, the potential difficulties. If it was easy, it wouldn't be interesting, right? So it will enable you to do this fantastic adventure by overcoming these difficulties with the help of the rally organization, and then really focusing on discovering the local culture, discovering the island, not just spending time on your boat. Spending social times with your friends on other boat is very important, but as well with the local communities, going for treks in the mountains, going fishing with the local people, and obviously enjoying the nature. I mean, French Polynesia, it's 250,000 people scattered over 118 islands in a space which is the size of Europe. So it's like the biggest natural park in the world. What we are trying to offer is really a menu where you can choose which level of assistance you want based on your experience level and on the amount of risk and uncertainty you want to take, what will make you feel comfortable to do this passage. And if you're interested, you can go on our website where we explain all the different levels of assistance you can get.
The idea of completing such a lifelong goal and reinventing yourself and fulfilling your dreams is really, really special, and it ends up being one of the most important things that most of these people have done in their lives. One thing is, we only go around once in life, and if you have this dream, you should get on it.